this probably will sound a bit dramatic. I met with a counselor on the way back from a therapist perspective. She's like, you need to do it. This probably will sound a bit dramatic. It's also kind of true. So
Yeah.
I'll make this a very short story. But so I was living in the Middle East for the past almost 3 years. And at the end of last year and beginning of this year, it was a very just like kind of tumultuous and dramatic end to that season, or to that specific time of life. And it was super unexpected. And it was like every aspect, like the house I was living in, the job I had, different friendships, relationship, security, like all of that was just kind of, it was like ripped out in one really fell, pretty dramatic swoop. And I stayed in like a different place than where I was currently living to just kind of figure some stuff out. But there was some collateral damage that was happening through those couple of months. So it was very much a turn off and just to get through it, like just kind of get through this until I can be back home. And so I was coming home maybe in like March of this year, and friends and all these people were like, hey, like you need to deal with what happened and you need to like heal from what happened. And I met with a counselor on the way back and she was like, you need to heal. And I was like, right. I was like, everyone keeps saying that. I was like, I know it sounds like a great idea, but I have no idea how to do that. And I asked her, I was like, can you just tell, like, scientifically from a therapist perspective? And she was like, you just need to do, she's like, you need to do a workout where you can just get mad. Cool. Like that's a small actionable task. I can do that. That sounds great. And so I'd landed back in Dallas, where my family's from. I was going to be there for a couple weeks. And I tried out some like boxing classes, some, just like some various free trial classes around town, that in my head I thought kind of fit that definition. And none of it just, I was kind of like, man, the whole thing was I just like kind of kept ruminating on what had happened, and I was like, this isn't helping that. I'm just thinking about it while I'm boxing, and I'm stressed about boxing now. And so I was just gonna do like a public commercial gym for a couple weeks before coming back out to Arizona. But about a half a mile away from my parents' house, there's a CrossFit gym, and it said like come like a free trial class. And I was like, you know what? That's one less day I have to pay for a gym membership. I was like, that sounds great. So I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about the stereotypes. That wasn't even in my head. But I went in and I did a class and I left. And I remember thinking, it's like, that is the first hour that I was not thinking about how stressed out I was or how freaked out I was or whatever. I was thinking about what are handstand push-ups and why are all these middle-aged men doing them perfectly? I'm so confused. I was like, I do not understand what's happening. And I loved it. It's like,
that is awesome.
It's like, and so I was in Dallas for a couple weeks. And so I actually did 2 weeks of CrossFit at that gym. And the guy who ran that and owned it, he was like, wherever you go in Arizona, he's like, find a CrossFit gym and just like keep doing this. And the stereotypes meant nothing after that. I was like, on it, great. Say it's a cult, say it's intense, say people like whatever. Great.
I mean, Kool-Aid has been drank. We're in. That is such an incredible story. And this is, I guess, not a question, more of a comment, but shout out to that counselor. That's a great piece of advice. Obviously, like the counselor didn't specifically say CrossFit, but just the idea of like, go do something. It almost sounded like, and I mean, I don't know, you tell me if this is how you interpret it. It's like, go do something so hard that you have no choice but for your mind to have to focus on the thing you're doing and nothing else.
Totally. It's spot on.
Yeah. Do you still feel that same benefit that you were initially looking for?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I could talk about that for like the next 12 hours. So I will. Yes.
No.
I sure do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like we can go into that too, right? Because and I mean, jokingly, but also seriously, because there may be somebody listening to this that might be in a very similar situation, right? That's in a really, really tough time
Yeah.
in whatever it is they're going through, and they're sitting
Yeah.
there and they can't help but think about that nonstop. And how am I going to get through this? And I'm kind of picking that up based on how you described it, right?
Yeah.
And so, if that's something, if this is something that helped you through that time,
Yeah.
that might be a person that might have those same stereotypes of CrossFit too, and just think,
Yeah.
oh, these people are crazy doing these muscle ups and going on their hands. What the hell are they doing, right?
Yeah.
But it's beyond that.
Absolutely. I think the best way that I can kind of like try to sum it up, is actually, it feels poetic that it's like you doing this podcast, because it was something you said the first time I was ever in one of your classes. And it was, so it was probably late April, and it was whatever workout it was. It was some like 4-round thing where there's 12 pull-ups involved. And I was like, I hate that I can't do that. And, I was doing ring rows and I was like, like I can barely, pull myself up. And I asked you, I was like, how do I start doing pull-ups? And I think before I let you answer, I was like, should I come and do pull-ups every day? Or like, should I just like hang on the rig? Like, what do I do to make this happen? And you're like, yeah, you just show up every day. Like, just keep showing up. And then at one point, you're going to do something where it's like, huh, I didn't know that was possible. And I remember, like, and that actually became, I'm really not saying this to blow smoke, that really became like kind of the mantra of like, okay, I know, like, mentally there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, like mentally and emotionally, spiritually, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. Physically, there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And when I looked at that as like a big thing, it was way too much. I was like, there's no shot any of this is gonna, like, there's no way. I can't get from point A to point B. But when it was broken up into like, actually, no, just like show up, like just come to the next thing and do it and do the thing that's in front of you. And then before you know it, you'll kind of look back and be like, whoa, that I did not realize the progress that was being made. And I think CrossFit ended up being a very cool physical representation of like the healing process that was going on, holistically, of, like you get little calluses and you start saying, oh, I can like pull myself up a little bit more than I could 2 weeks ago. And then it also is like, yeah, like, okay, whether it's just showing up to like a counseling appointment or like showing up to just talk to someone or show like just these little things, just like you don't have to solve the whole problem, like just do the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think with CrossFit, it was like, okay, I can come in and just do the next thing. And like that WOD looks impossible, but it's not, because at the end of the day, we're all giggling at the front and chit-chatting at the end. Like, it's not impossible, it's, you're going to be done with it and ultimately have a way better day because of it. And I just think it ended up becoming a very cool, symbolic representation of like everything else that was going on.
Thanks for checking out that clip. If you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe so that way you get notified of any future videos. And for all previous episodes of the Silverback Media Podcast, make sure you click right here so you can hear all the stories of other everyday CrossFitters. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.